Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Nerdlocker podcast. My name's Brandon,
And I'm Jimmy.
and we're going to talk about nerdy stuff. I guess first and foremost, just because it's been bugging me since I watched it, but Bill Maher's kind of response to the death of Stan Lee that escalated to "fuck you, Bill Maher," and then finally he kind of brought it up again, basically just to trash anyone who reads comic books or enjoys comic book movies, stating that we are all children, essentially.
Yeah, man, I've oftentimes just tried to defend him for, he gets in trouble for saying things that are politically incorrect on his show that is called politically incorrect. And it's like, yeah, that's the show. What do you expect? But then I guess when it's a topic that hits close to home, it's like, screw you, dude.
Yeah, it was pretty. I don't know. His response to me was pretty childish. He makes fun of Kevin Smith. He makes fun of. He's like, I was never making fun of Stan Lee. I was making fun of the people that were, you know, upset that Stan Lee died because he created children's heroes, and like you still read books about children's heroes. And I mean, I think it's just a general like ignorance of the medium, I guess. Like,
Most definitely.
I mean, I worked at a comic book store for 3 years. I've read comics fairly religiously since, high school. And I mean, I read them as a kid, but once I could drive, it's like, oh, I can go and buy these comics whenever the fuck I want to. And there are so many books that, like, you would not let children read. You, as a father, I'm sure, have books and stories that, when your kids are younger and probably, even right now, that you don't want them to read.
I remember not too long ago, it was Free Comic Book Day, and they were relaunching Voltron. And I mean, Voltron, that's a cartoon I grew up with. And I went and got, they had a free comic for that. And James, my son, he must have been at, I don't know, 8 at the time, and got it. And he just started reading it without me. And I looked over, and it wasn't like it was sexual or anything, but it was definitely heavier than I wanted it to be. And I'm like, what? What is that about? That's Voltron. And that was just yet another example, eye opener of like, yeah, these are not necessarily kid book. You can't just assume.
Yeah, I mean, I think there was a time where it was like, yeah, they were children's stories for that, but it's like if you grew up reading these and now these people got older, they started writing their stories, and like
Yeah.
that's how it moves on from one person to the next to the next to the next. And obviously as the reader grows, you want these characters to end up in different situations and do different things and experience different things. And I mean, even from a children's perspective, almost every comic book starts out with like someone getting murdered. That's how the person becomes the hero that they become, like Spider-Man and Batman, for example. Like,
Oh, most definitely.
yeah, like, hey, the alien's planet has blown up, like, let's fucking talk about how this affects him. Like, I don't know, just pretty fucking stupid on my part, but it was
Well,
a very annoyed 5 minutes I spent watching him talk about it.
I feel like a lot of this is just more a backlash that box offices of late are truly ruled by superhero movies. And if you don't like them, I get it. That's not your cup of tea, so you're going to rage against it. But at the
Yeah, but
same
it's
time,
fucking my cup of tea. Like, fuck
I
off.
know. And how many years did we have to sit back and not have anything? And
Or
now we
or
finally,
or the things we did have were garbage.
yeah.
Anybody remember Steel with Shaq?
Oh yeah.
Anybody
Oh
remember
yeah.
the, like, even when we were getting like semi normalized, like we still had the Fantastic Four movies that were garbage to sit through.
Well,
Like,
that was probably Marvel's greatest trick during the 80s is their movies were all stuck in contract hell and who owned the rights. So none of them got made. That may have been the best thing that ever happened
yeah,
because
really.
there were a lot of really bad comic book movies during the 80s and early 90s.
Didn't we talk about, like, way, way, way back in the day, about them wanting to do a Doctor Strange movie with Paul Giamatti?
I don't remember that, but I could see that being true.
I mean, I think Patrick told me that, and like that was something they were working on in the early 2000s, and it's like, yeah, we've waited like our sweet fucking time for this shit to come out. Like, I don't know. I mean, it's like, yo, I don't want to see A Star Is Born. it just didn't look interesting to me. Like, it's not like, okay, maybe that's a bad example because it's probably something I'll end up watching, but it wasn't on my like watch list. Let's do
Well,
Alvin and
now,
the Chipmunks, right?
well, let's do what, 5 of them, 4 of them? I don't even know. I've got
Yeah,
kids, and I don't even know.
but I mean, I'm not gonna fucking make fun of people. It's a kids movie for kids. Like, yeah, it pisses me off that there's 5 of them and we can't get a sequel to the A Team still. Well,
Yeah.
but like, like there's no reason to fucking shit all over that just because it's something. I don't. I'm not gonna see that kids movie. Whatever.
Yeah. And sometimes nowadays, I don't know if personalities like him are just saying things to get a rise out of people, because clearly comic book fans are loyal and to the death. So they're going to come out
100%.
against him, and then, he just gets more and more pub.
Yeah.
So it's hard to tell. But he seemed like he was at least giving it a go to knock comic books. But like you said, it was a very childish argument that he was giving. But it was just like, what's the point? Why are you doing that?
Yeah. I don't know. I just um with shit like that though, like I mean, I guess to even kind of go into that, what you were saying with them like ruling the box office and stuff. I think it's cool to see like Black Panther nominated,
Hmm.
but I still feel like it was more of just like a Heath Ledger as the
Yeah.
Joker nomination thing. Like, we're just like, oh well, we're gonna include it. Like, I don't know. Did you think Infinity War was better?
Um, no, only because it's not finished, which I know is a weird
That's
answer.
a fair. You know what? That's pretty fair. It's like a not a completed story.
Yeah, so that's the only reason why I don't. But on the flip side, I definitely think it deserved Best Directing nomination to get all of that together in one movie, all those personalities, culminating from 10 years of story building. And I know it would have been these guys, like who directed? I can't remember.
Oh fuck, man. I always say like, hey, pull up the tab before you start talking,
I
and
didn't plan on talking about this, but
little
I forgot
little
because it's the
lay it out
duo,
there.
right? Yeah, the brothers, Russo brothers.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Black Panther. Yeah, the Russo
No,
brothers.
no, no. The Avengers that, they would have been, if they had been nominated, they would have sort of been standing on the shoulders of giants, so to speak, and that, no, they didn't create the whole Marvel universe, but they certainly pulled together one hell of a film with all these storylines and actors coming together. In all honesty, I believe they deserved it. And then even more so, I think James Gunn deserved a nod for his work with either of the Guardians of the Galaxy
Oh,
to pull those
absolutely.
personalities together, to imagine all of that green screen going on, the worlds he created, the story he told. But again, no, they don't get the recognition. And so, in my mind, there have definitely been better comic book movies. But at the same time, Black Panther comes in at the right time. It definitely gives us insight into a world 90% of us haven't seen. And I mean that as an African American superhero. That was just
Absolutely.
amazing, changed the culture, so to speak. Because I didn't, I mean, you and I, we don't know. We're just white guys watching
Listen, we're
film. And
just two ignorant white guys.
we really are. But
Just
then when Patrick comes in, is like, man, I saw myself on the screen for the first time ever. And you're like, oh shit, dude. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know what that's not the right response because I didn't create this stuff. But it's like, wow, man, that's awesome. That is
no,
so awesome.
absolutely it is. Well, with that, did we kind of talked about the Academy Awards last time briefly?
I think we touched about it briefly. I can't remember why though, so I don't
I don't
know.
remember either, but I remember you saying that this is the first time Spike Lee's been nominated for an Academy
Yes, that's right.
Award,
We did
which
briefly talk about that.
one fucking blows me away.
Oh yeah.
Two, Black Klansman was a really great movie. I really recommend that to anybody. It was very fun to watch. Or were you aware that the lead actor in that movie is Denzel Washington's son?
I was through a circuitous route in that I watched the Dwayne Johnson show on HBO, the football one,
Oh,
which
Ballers.
yeah, I watched Ballers, and he's on that as one of the main characters. And so from there, I learned he is Denzel's son.
And I do believe he was a football player for a minute, or tried to be.
I think so. I think you're right.
He did a fucking incredible job. I know there's a lot that's added to it, and I guess the real story, the guy that you know like the idea of the movie, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
the white cop that plays the fake white version of him that meets the Klans people.
Huh?
His name and information was never disclosed by Ron Stallworth, the actual black cop
Okay.
who made the phone call and started everything. And I don't know if that means like this guy's still undercover or, did he was an undercover cop that the guy is still never revealed,
Wow.
which I think is fucking awesome.
That's
So, you
crazy.
don't, maybe he's still doing that. Maybe, putting out who he was would put him in a dangerous situation, whatever. Um, but I think that's also why, because I know there was some backlash to like the kind of embellishing the story, but
Yeah.
after reading that, you're kind of like, well, they probably have to embellish stuff to make it so it doesn't add up exactly. Because I guess David Duke doesn't remember a lot of this taking place or whatever,
I can see that. But I
despite
mean,
him being. Well, I mean, I'm sure he's also just saying that because it's like you're a
oh, it's
fucking
embarrassing.
racist idiot and you got played like the douchebag you are. But um, I figured that might be one of the reasons they did that as well.
And for anybody who complains about, because we did talk about Bohemian Rhapsody and the inaccuracies,
Yeah, okay,
but
that's probably how we got talking on all this.
anybody who goes and it really trashes a film because they try and boost up some of the, if it's a biopic and they boost up some of the drama or such, chill out, guys. Man, go take a look at your life, and it might not be terribly interesting, but if you're going to tell a story, you boost it up. Well, it's no different from something that actually really happened. You're not going to tell, oh, and well, whoever went and had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. That's not
That
inherently
would be
history.
that would be my
Yeah.
biopic. It would just be me eating a lot and doing
Mm.
not much.
I was going to say that'd be one of the few times where you see a lot of bathroom scenes.
Just
Like,
like
hey, I got to
that.
go pee. I'll be right back.
Hey guys,
All
I
right.
gotta just me looking at my phone,
Yeah, la
eating.
la la.
Yeah,
And mine would be very loud. My kids are screaming. I'm gonna go take a nap later.
that's the gym story.
Yeah, it would be very front end heavy, and then the latter years would be like, ugh.
I'd love to see just what people could embellish about me. I think that would be fun. Like, what is it you think I do when no one's around? Like, what are the conversations you think Brandon's having?
Nice.
But yeah, I thought another cool one is Adam McKay's up for Best Director. I haven't seen Vice and I haven't seen Roma, but Adam McKay's up for Vice, which is he's a great director. He's hilarious, but I just never saw him in the Best Director category.
No, it's kind of like when Jordan Peele got nominated, and you're like, that guy, really? And then, I mean, obviously, you see the film, you're like, okay, wow, yeah, that he definitely earned it. But it's just one of those things with the name. You're like, really, that guy? So no, I totally agree with you. It's very
You
cool.
you liked Get Out.
I liked parts of Get Out. I did not like all of Get Out. I thought we hit a point where we jumped the shark where it became really silly with like the personality brain transplant. I was like, what? That's dumb.
Did you see the trailer for his new one, Us?
As you know, I love horror films, and I got to tell you, that looks like one of the scariest movies I've ever
Does
seen.
that not look absolutely fucking terrifying?
It does, and I don't even know
Holy
it's. I don't know what's going on. Like it,
zero idea what
yeah.
it's about. Like,
I really enjoy his fresh take on horror, and that's one of the things. Although I did not like all of Get Out, I really enjoyed the fact that it was a fresh new take on it because we just keep getting zombie flicks. To be honest, slasher flicks, which are my favorite, but they're just like, they're just retreads. The haunted house, the Grudge, that stuff. It's like, come on, let's do something new. So when that comes along, you're like, oh, that's interesting. I dig it.
I'm looking up the synopsis or the premise of it now,
Mhm.
and I almost love that it still gives. First of all, even the poster's fucking terrifying. I hate looking at this right now
Yeah,
because I'm alone in my house. But it's husband and wife, Gabe and you guys know I'm terrible at this. Adeline. Um, First of all, the guy who plays M'Baku is playing the husband, so that's fucking dope.
It took me. This is embarrassing. It took me maybe 3 viewings of the trailer to figure out that was him. And
Oh,
I don't know
really?
if because he wasn't covered in fur and all that, but
He
I'm like,
wasn't just like being a buff,
yeah,
crazy.
he was like
Yeah.
normal size. I'm like, oh, that guy looks familiar. What is he from? And I'm like, oh god,
He's
damn,
like he's a
oh,
tall
Hitler.
dude, but you're right. He looked just kind of normal in this.
Yes, yeah,
Um, but it's his husband and wife take their children to their beach house, hoping to spend time with friends. Their serenity soon turns to tension and chaos when a group of strangers arrive. I kind of like that it doesn't say shit about it.
yeah. I mean, they don't even have character names for most of the actors in here.
Yeah,
Not most, but some of them. Zero's like, we don't know what this is going to be. So good luck.
yeah. He's in that. And did you see his commercial for the Twilight Zone during the Super Bowl?
Yes.
Like, fuck, man, everything he's doing. I'm like, I had no idea you were this.
No.
Like,
No clue.
first of all, you're hilarious. I knew that watching Key and Peele, and it's like just insane that you also happen to be this insane like horror person. I think he's producing the new Candyman remake.
I had heard that. In fact, I heard they had thought of. I mean, I can't remember who they were thinking of casting too. Shoot, but yeah, I had heard he was producing that.
That I
Which
who
that's
knew?
one of my favorites from back in the day.
The Twilight Zone or
No, well,
Candyman?
yes, Candyman, Twilight Zone, yes, but also Candyman. That was another one that was just an original horror film, and I honestly don't know
That was
if
just a
the true
totally
story or not.
original
But
thing.
I was. I don't know if it was based on some really trumped up events, or if it was just one of those urban legends that was a real urban legend.
Yeah.
But they played it off like it was an urban legend, and I believed it. I'm like, man, that's scary.
I remember that movie freaked me out, and then when I got older and I rewatched it, as you know, some tend to do, I tend to do when I'm watching movies or stuff. I'll just look up trivia or look up whatever, and those like he had to have bees crawling in and out of his mouth, and
Yes.
that right there would have fucking been a no go for Brandon. Like that right there is terrifying enough. Like
Yep.
you never would have got that shot. I would have been crying. Like it would have been terrible. But
Well,
that was just one of the little things in that movie that I was like, holy shit. Like,
and I'll tell you this: I'm a 41-year-old man. I will not go into a bathroom, look in the mirror, and say Candyman 3 times.
no, fuck that shit. I'm not crazy.
Nope, not going to happen. It really. I'll do Beetlejuice, but I will not do Candyman.
Beetlejuice is a fun time. I'm
Yes.
down with that.
Yeah.
I'm not down with Candyman. Yeah, fuck
Nope.
that. Fuck
I'm
that.
not stupid.
No, I'm not
Yeah.
dumb. I'm not trying to die everyone.
Yeah. Like I
It
said,
also says he's working on a 10-episode series about hunting down Nazis called The Hunt, which is produced by Jordan Peele. That sounds
wow.
dope. Count me in. This
That's
guy.
another one where you could just pick them as villains at random, and
Oh,
nobody
it's the
doubts it.
best.
Like,
It's my
yeah,
favorite thing in the
yeah,
world. Like anytime Nazis are the bad guys, I'm like, sign me up. I'm gonna watch
yeah,
this shit because
exactly.
you know they're gonna die.
And you throw in a little Indiana Jones with Nazis, dude, you got the greatest movies ever.
Exactly. I have decided that I'm just gonna tell my children when they get to like high school age, be like, look, I know you're learning World War II stuff. That's cool, and you got to take the test according to the textbook. But this movie, Inglorious Bastards, shows how World War II actually ended. Hitler was shot in the face by the Bear Jew in a theater.
Okay, so I know what I said earlier about historical accuracy. I am such a hypocrite. I hate Inglorious Bastards because of that.
Oh, what? It was the best.
Oh, it's so bad. It's like, wait a minute, Hitler's dead? This movie's
Yeah,
so stupid.
they fucking destroyed him. They shot him so much he was unrecognizable.
I will say that's not the only reason I hate the movie, but that is a big reason.
Who was I listening to? Oh, it was this will be the podcast that like someone finds years from now and tries. Well, granted, if I ever do anything of substance, there's more than enough shit on the internet to be like, look at how dumb this man is. But I think it was Ben Shapiro, who's a dumb fuck to begin with.
Yeah.
Was talking about like no one would ever kill baby Hitler because he's a baby, and I'm like, yo, 10 out of 10 times I would kill baby Hitler if I had the chance. Like, no, what are you talking about?
No, that is funny. I must have come up recently because Alice and I were talking about that, and it was like, no, I wouldn't, because what if this sounds stupid, but what if in the was it 21 million people he wiped out, he killed somebody worse than him?
Okay, see, this is why I enjoy having these conversations with people like us because this is the shit we think about. But
Yeah.
like, I would definitely kill baby Hitler. Don't let that be on my campaign sign. Brandon Zitch would kill baby Hitler.
Well, if we were campaigning, you would definitely win that one because it would have been
Oh,
like, dude, this guy likes Nazis. I'm like, I didn't say
that's
that.
not what I said. That's not what I said at all.
I just said I wasn't going to change the past because who knows what would happen in the future.
I think that was a scene that was cut out of Deadpool 2.
It was most definitely, yeah.
Yeah, he definitely went back and killed baby Hitler.
It was great.
Was that on? Did you see the Once Upon a Deadpool?
I did not every intention to go see it, and just holiday time
It
in
was in
Vegas
theaters
with
really
family.
quickly.
Yeah, it was. I was bummed because it was one of those things where it's January. I'm like, okay, now there's nothing to see. I'll go see it, and it wasn't there anymore. I'm like, well, that sucks.
I wonder if they're selling it, right? Yep.
I'm sure I haven't seen it in
I
stores, but I
just
don't
typed
really
in
look.
once on Amazon and it said upon a Deadpool, and now I know my computer's listening to me.
Nice.
Yeah, you can. You can buy that one too. That might be worth watching.
Yeah, I love Deadpool. You know that. And I just like the idea that he's sort of changing how you do movies.
Do you think they're gonna do X Force, or do you think they're gonna do a Deadpool 3?
Well, I'm kind of disappointed in Disney because I read that they um, any future X-Men are on hiatus, which I get. That's fine. This Phoenix thing looks awful. So,
This I heard it's an embarrassment. I
oh,
heard
it
it is
looks
just
like it.
all around bad.
Obviously, they feel the same way about that. What was that other one? In the insane asylum one. That's sort of a
Oh,
scarier turn.
New Mutants.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
New
heard
Mutants.
that might not even make it to fucking the light of day.
Exactly. It's been on the shelf for a couple years. And then I heard X Force was put on hiatus and Deadpool 3, the same. But Deadpool 3 was more of a let's just pause for a second and see where we stand with the sale of Fox going through
Got
and
it.
seeing where everything is. And I understand because Disney's got 10 years vested in Marvel. They've got great things happening, and Deadpool is in Marvel. Now, you could do whatever you want with him because he's in his own world, literally. And you could include him in the Marvel MCU if you
Yeah.
wanted to. But I can totally see them, hey, you know what? We have X-Men, we have all this stuff. Let's make a plan. Our compadres across the street at DC can't do anything right with their planning. Let's not fall into that realm.
I think they have shit ready to, like, maybe not ready to go, but they've thought about this and know
Yeah,
what they want to do. Like, I have no doubt that that I mean, they've done so well so far. They
yeah,
have plans and they have shit in place that it's gonna make this watchable. Like, I'm an article from 2 days ago. It says Disney chairman and CEO reiterated that Disney plans to do R-rated Marvel movies.
awesome.
So there will be R-rated Deadpool.
And
So
that's perfect. And I think Disney recognized, I think Fox recognized too, but Disney recognized, hey, our Marvel universe is coming to an end. I guess I would call it our Avengers universe is coming to an end as we know it. Fox sees, you know what? We really destroyed the X-Men. Fantastic Four never got off the ground. Let's just get out of this business. And it was just this perfect storm of, hey, you know what? We can get the X-Men back, get Fantastic Four back, and really incorporate this into the next phases of what we want to do with the MCU. And as further proof
in
that
a
they
way that
have,
makes sense.
yeah, exactly. And the only real one that's stuck in that realm of what's going to happen is Deadpool because he's the only one left that was really being successful for Fox.
Yeah.
But I think again, like we said, he exists wherever he wants to exist. He can literally bounce back and forth in the MCU and out of the MCU because his character is just he's insane.
I mean, and don't get me wrong, it'd be cool to see him doing certain things, but it's like when he shows up in an Avengers book, it's never like, oh shit, Deadpool's here. It's usually in a comical sense, or it's
Yes.
in a less serious book, or the Avengers show up in his book. Like I think that's more or less what we could be saying is you could see, Spider-Man show up in a Deadpool movie, or you could see Captain America showing up in a Deadpool movie. It doesn't have to necessarily be the Avengers and then Deadpool show up and change the kind of tone that you've set for the Avengers movie.
Yeah. And to be honest, he in the second movie he laid claim to essentially the most important character to him in Domino and Cable. So if they add anybody else, cool. If they never add anybody else, okay. Those are two of the most important people in his comic book series. So it's perfect, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean that you could easily do movies with just the three of them now. Like
Yeah.
that's a totally feasible thing. But I am excited. Like I don't. It's always funny to read people like jumping the gun and just being like, "Oh man, like I bet this is going to happen in the next one." And the fact, like, and Kevin, is I always say it wrong. Is it Feige?
Yes.
Okay, I always want to say Feige because I'm an idiot. Um,
No, he breaks the I before E rule. Totally, man.
Fee guy,
Yeah.
Feig. Either way, um, obviously, like people are saying, "Oh, well, he's saying this." Like, yeah, he's not gonna fucking answer all your questions before like the movie comes out. He wants you to go
No.
see the fucking movie. Like,
No,
he's not gonna be. Yeah, the X Men show up in fucking Endgame. Like, of course, he's not gonna fucking tell you anything.
no. And it's funny because obviously Marvel knows what they want to do, and I'm sure it doesn't always happen, but look how quickly the announcement for Sony and Spider-Man happened, and then immediately Spider-Man was in Civil War.
Yeah,
So they clearly had that planned out, ready to go if it happened, and if not, all right,
you
no
cut
big
him
deal.
out, and it's not
Yeah,
a big deal. That entire
exactly.
scene, you're right. That entire scene could have done without him if
Yeah,
they said no to that. It's cool that they included him, and it's cool that they got him, but yeah, like you reshoot that without him in it. That's all there is to it.
yeah, and it amazes me how Marvel has this just, and I know it to me it did start with an accident in that they had our Iron Man and Hulk. Iron Man did well, and from there it really blossomed into what we have today. It did not start that way, but at some point they realized, hey, we got something on our hands. We really have to craft this into a coherent story that culminates into something big, and
Yeah,
they
absolutely.
did.
Have you already seen like the theories that they've cut people out of the teaser trailer and stuff?
Yeah, I haven't. I tried to stay. I That happened with the first one when they got all upset with the Hulk, literally the Hulk, being in the
I thought
plains
it
of
was great.
Wakanda.
I thought it was a good swerve. Like,
I did too, but people complained, and then they speculated why, and that oh well maybe they're foreshadowing the second movie, and it's like, you know what? I love the speculation, or I guess I should say I used to love the speculation, but now it's so rampant. I don't really want it to ruin what could potentially happen, and then so many arguments happen with this stuff. It's like, you know what? I just try and stay away from it.
dude, I don't know, man. Like, I don't understand why people jump to certain conclusions on stuff because I'm just like, I right in your head, yeah, this would be the dopest thing that could ever happen. But like, you have to think from a realistic standpoint what people are going to do.
Yes.
Like you have to understand that like you can't just jump in and do all that shit because there's steps you have to take in order to get there.
Yeah, that's I'm in a whole bunch of Star Wars groups on Facebook, which shouldn't come to surprise to anybody. And obviously, right now the big thing is the quote unquote final movie of this new trilogy, and it cracks me up because people are daily, oh, what do you think the new name is going to be? What is the name? What's the name? And before the Super Bowl, well, are they going to do a trailer for the Super Bowl? It's like I don't understand why this is a thing. You know, it'll come out eventually. Why are we even going? I understand maybe one post trying to speculate this on, but like daily, it's like, what the hell is the point? Don't you guys have jobs? Get a life, man. And I'm a Star Wars nerd saying that.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I liked Solo.
Oh, you finally saw it?
Yeah.
Nice.
I thought it was dope, and like I don't know. I wish people would have more patience with shit. Like,
Right? It was a super fun movie.
yeah, I wish people would have more patience with shit. And I just wish that, like, I don't know, you'd give this a chance to grow. Like, I love the idea of one-off Star Wars movies, and now just because this one didn't perform as well, like, now we're probably not getting any more.
I got to tell you, I've seen, as you are well aware, because unfortunately you're the victim here, I've seen all of the pre screenings of those with Chase. And every single one of them, I've walked out going, I don't know, except Solo. Solo, I walked out like, damn, that was fun. I really liked that. And it was just because it was lighthearted. The comedy was great. The action was great. Donald Glover was awesome.
Dude, Donald Glover should be Lando every day, forever. Like,
And it's funny because now I see him in other things like Atlanta. I'm like,
you're
no,
not
no,
Lando.
no, no, do Lando. Don't do that, guy.
Go do Lando.
I know, just do Lando. And I feel bad because he's so wicked talented, and I'm trying to just pigeonhole him in this one character. But it's like, I'm selfish, dude. Just be Lando. Don't do anything else.
Like, I want you to do all this other stuff, but I also want more Lando. Is what I like. Keep rapping, keep doing your shit, but also, like, I want more Lando.
And I really think of all the things that he would be asked to do or reprise, that would be the one he'd be like, hell yeah, let's do this.
Yeah.
And of course, that's the one where they're like, well, it didn't make $1 billion like every other Star Wars movie. It only made $500,000. So I think we'll put it on hold.
Yeah. I don't know. I especially with the Darth Maul thing, like that's what I wanted to see.
That was because you watched the animation, right? The cartoons?
Yeah, that shit was awesome.
Okay. Well, that's it baffles me again in the Star Wars groups. The number of people are so confused about Darth Maul, and it really made me step back a minute and be like, oh my God, there's a lot of people seeing this movie that have no clue Darth Maul is alive.
Yeah.
And I guess it's coming from that standpoint and be like, well, that's stupid. He's dead. He was cut in half. And it's like, oh, brother, no. You got to
He's
go
not
see.
he's not killed at the end of Clone Wars, right? Like, he survives well, it's like left up to question.
He's in Rebels, man.
Oh, okay, I haven't watched Rebels.
Yeah, he makes it all the way to Rebels.
God damn. Okay. Well, fuck,
Yeah.
man. Keep on keeping on there, dude.
And if I remember correctly, I don't want to spoil it, but he meets back up with Obi-Wan on the deserts of Tatooine. And it's like, oh my God, this is
That's what
awesome.
I want to see, a fucking Obi-Wan Darth Maul movie. Like, come on.
Yeah. Yeah. It was cool, full circle, and it's nice it's canon. But yeah, Rebels is a great, great animation. I haven't seen the new one. I'm not a big I started watching, I wasn't a big fan, but Rebels was really good.
I think I started Rebels. I think I got through season 1 maybe,
Mhm.
because doesn't Anakin's protege show back up at the end of season 1?
I am awful at this game because I binge and I don't know what season, what episode, what
Well,
season
she
was in.
shows back up, right?
But she does. Yeah, Ahsoka shows up.
Okay, then yeah, I think I
And
think
it's
I
badass.
watched season 1, and then they meet up with the remaining
Yep.
clones,
Yep.
and I think that's all I got to.
And it's cool because they incorporated the Ghost, the ship, in Rogue One, which was cool.
Yeah.
You just briefly see it; it's nothing big. And then in the show Rebels, you have Ahsoka coming back, and she literally confronts Darth Vader, and she senses who it is. And we've never had this scenario on screen of a character from Anakin's past who meets back up with him as Darth Vader, except for Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
So that's literally the only time it happened. So to see it again and you're like, oh my God, she knows. She knows who it is. And even at that, Obi-Wan literally knew who it was because he saw
Yeah.
what had happened and then he knew who Darth Vader became.
So
But
Obi-Wan
for the
shows back up in Rebels
yes,
as well.
yes, very briefly. He's not in it regular. I think he's only in one episode.
Well, still, I'm gonna have to fucking.
But yeah, it was so cool. And it's funny because reading the books that they're coming out, we all know Anakin is Darth Vader and Darth Vader's Anakin. We get that. But the things that I forget is nobody else knows that. Like it's a big secret
Yeah.
that they tried to keep a secret. And then one book specifically called Bloodlines, I can't remember who revealed it, but they revealed that Darth Vader is Leia's father. And obviously, we've known this since the 80s, but
But like,
oh,
not everybody in the
yeah,
world knows that.
the characters don't know that. And that's the reason why she is not running this new government. That's why she's in the new resistance, is because she was sort of shunned after they found out her dad was Darth Vader. It's like, holy shit, that makes sense. I love it. I love how it all ties in together.
Well, I mean, that's old news. That's not how it is anymore.
But that's how it is.
I thought they got rid of all that shit.
No, that's what I mean. These are the contemporary ones. These are the canon ones that they're writing.
Oh, okay. I thought this was I thought
No,
you were
these
talking
are
about the ones that were taken out after
no. This is that's and this is where I have a problem, and it's a personal problem, Brandon. Is
it's a
that
personal problem.
I read all the not all of them, but I read a bunch of the legend books, and now as I'm reading the new canon books, it's like, okay, is that no? Okay, okay,
Oh, so
this is what
Bloodlines
it is.
is a newer canon book.
Yes, I think it's about 2-3 years old.
Oh, no
Yes,
shit. I didn't realize they were doing like a new round of those. So,
yeah, they have a ton of new books. They're really good, and they really add to the movies. Most of them take place post the original trilogy, but there's a
okay.
couple that, like Tarkin, was fantastic, and obviously that shows the rise of Tarkin, and that takes place before A New Hope. Obviously, it has to.
Gotcha.
But there's another one with Thorn, which is just fantastic. Actually, there's two with him, and yeah, look it up. I love them. They're really doing really well with the Star Wars books.
Well, goddamn. I didn't know this at all.
Yeah, a whole new world.
Eh. The whole thing is, I'm like, okay, they're getting rid of all this history that's happened since. I can catch up, and here I am, not even realizing that
Well, it's
I'm
funny
behind
because
already.
I was frustrated at first that they were getting rid of some of this stuff, but then the further we go along, it's like they are bringing pieces of the Legends universe into canon, like Grand Admiral Thrawn, and he's in Rebels as well. But they also have this clean slate they can work with. So the crap that didn't work, they're like, no, we're not doing that. I'm like, cool, I love it.
Yeah.
So it works out in my opinion.
Eh. Well, look at that. I'm learning already.
I know. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that to you.
No, you're good. I, I could use to learn more often. Anything else we need to talk about?
Well, you did some comic book reviews. You want to hit on those real quick?
Yeah. So I was gonna do a review on Age of X-Man.
Hmm.
I was going to, but I didn't get a chance to read it, and I'm almost. I don't know. I don't know if I want to stay away from that or not because I feel like it's just a new Age of Apocalypse.
Yeah, we talked about the ending to X-Men Disassembled. And then I did finally read the X-Men Annual with Scott Summers, Cyclops. Um, yeah, I might go on hiatus from X-Men a little while again. I don't know.
So the newest issue of Uncanny X-Men number 11
Yeah.
wasn't bad.
Okay.
I mean, it's gonna take, like I said, 5 or 6 months here for the Age of X-Man stuff to end, so they can get back to it. But I feel like they're so close to being back in the groove of things, but it's just not there yet.
Yeah, that's. I actually went back and was reading because we touched on this and I hadn't read it. X-Men Red and focusing on Jean Grey, and I'm like, man, I understand this is a contemporary issue with mutants being hunted and all that, but I guess I'm just getting tired of that storyline every single book.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting that now. Like this is a couple months after the X Men have disappeared, and now there's a cure to cure mutants, and like, hey, people hate mutants, and it's like, I don't know, I get it, but it's like, fuck's sake, man! Like, does every story have to be about how the world fucking hates them? Like, well, I don't know. As I'm saying it out loud, I'm thinking like, wouldn't people understand they're here to save people? But here we are in the real world with people fucking not getting how shit works and thinking things are scary because they don't understand it. So
And maybe that's the problem, that we are seeing a lot of these things in everyday life, and I don't want that in my comic book because I want to escape. I don't want to see more of it.
That might be a fair point.
Yeah.
Daredevil came out, new run with Chip Zdarsky. I've really enjoyed his shit. He did Howard the Duck recently.
Nice.
He's done a lot of good stuff, and I'm really excited to see his Daredevil run. I feel like Daredevil's been this character that a lot of people like really shine through when they write him. Mark Waid's run was awesome. I really like Charles Soule's run. Bendis's run back in the day. Like, I think Daredevil's just a neat character that people are able to do
Kevin
some fun
Smith.
stuff with. Yeah.
I really, I know it sounds dumb because obviously Kevin Smith knows comic books and all that, but he doesn't necessarily write great all the time.
Okay. I There's times he talks about comic books, and I'm like, my dude, there's a lot of shit you don't know, which is surprising.
Yeah, but it could also be from a certain point of view. He's older, even older than me in that respect, and that I don't know what the hell he's talking about sometimes. And the '80s and early '90s were random ass crap. But I agree with you. I'm not arguing with you.
No, that's a fair point though. But
But his run on Daredevil, I was surprised at how good it was, and it goes along with the new Spider-Man movie. Like, you think about it, Mysterio is just, he's nothing. It's like he's a theater dude, just to the extreme. But when you can make him cool, then it works really well. And Kevin Smith was able to do that. I think, but I certainly hope they do that well in Spider-Man, because if you don't do Mysterio well, it's like, really, that's stupid.
yeah. Well, I'm excited to see that. Like, that'll be cool. Just because, I mean, it's funny because from a comic book reading standpoint, it's like, okay, well, Mysterio is involved, so everything's not going to be what it seems.
Yes,
But I have a feeling there's a couple more like not as obvious twists coming up and shit like that. I wouldn't be surprised if the Chameleon's involved. Like, there's a lot of shit I'm really excited to see with that. I'm trying to think about what else. What else with comics? Justice League's been great. Avengers has been great. Um, Avengers, we're getting into a vampire civil war, which is something I never thought we'd see in an Avengers book, but first issue is really good. Justice League's building up some good stuff. And Young Justice is back. That's my personal favorite.
cool.
But that's the and Hellboy's ending down. BPRD, The Devil You May
Yeah,
Know, that's coming to an end here. So you might want to read that. There's still going to be one shots, I guess, here and there of Hellboy and other stuff. But as far as like a weekly advancing story, this is going to be it.
that's one of those ones. I never read it. Actually, I never read it. But it's sad to see it going away. I totally get that, stories run dry and they get monotonous and it's time for things to go. But I mean, I feel the same way about Savage Dragon. I don't read that, but I love the fact that it's gone on forever. Spawn, I don't read that, but I love the fact that it's gone on forever.
Yeah,
And it's so, when they do announce things like that that are fables, when they announce that it's going away, you're like, oh, that's sad.
yeah. Fables is fucking dope
And
too.
it's not the same, because when the Marvel or DC does it, you're like, oh, they'll be back at some point. But these other ones, you're like, yeah, I think they're done. I don't think they'll ever be back.
Yeah.
Or like one shots or something like that.
No, I mean it'll still be there, but it's not going to be in the way that you want it to be.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. I honestly, I haven't been reading, as we've talked about before, new releases week to week, but I have been binging, caught up on Dr. Aphra in the Star Wars world.
I need to read that one.
I love this book. It's basically a female Indiana Jones in space. She's literally an archaeologist who finds old space crap, and she has like no morals,
Hmm.
but then she kind of exhibits it at some times. And then they start out as their partners, but then they become her enemies. And right now they're sort of tied at the hip, assassin droids. And it's like, this is fantastic. It's so stupid, but it's fantastic. And I love the fact she's lesbian and she falls in love with an Imperial um, commander. And you're like, this is just the weirdest thing ever. But I love it. It's so weird.
Yeah, I will check that out. I've been a fan of most of the Star Wars comic books for the most part. I loved any of the Darth Vader any of the Darth Vader series that have gone on. The last one was fucking
Did we talk? I don't think we
exceptionally
talked
good.
about, did we?
The ending to it with
Yeah, the
the I don't
reveal.
think we talked about the ending of it. Well, okay, so basically they introduce who his father was.
Yes.
I might need you to explain that to me because I don't think I fully grasped that.
Well, it's interesting because this goes along with the books, but from what I remember, this was mentioned in a book as a legend. So I guess they're bringing it over to canon, and I'm sure a different Star Wars nerd will be able to say exactly when this happened, blah blah blah. And I know they reference it in the movie where they say where Shmi Walker's like, "Oh, all of a sudden I was just pregnant," but they are definitely saying that um, Palpatine essentially used the Force to impregnate Shmi,
Okay,
and that is what became Anakin.
so he was created by the
Yes,
emperor.
and in fact, if I now that I say it out loud, if I remember correctly, it was Darth Plagueis's book, and it was Palpatine and Plagueis together that were using the Force to bend to their will, and that's what they created. And it was I think it was a twist of fate that it was also on Tatooine, where Palpatine sort of inherited Darth Maul,
Okay,
and that Maul was born as a twin, and the mom wanted to save one of her sons because the other one was immediately given over to the witches of Dathomir, and she escaped to Tatooine and was drawn to Palpatine and gave him Darth Maul. Well, Maul at the time.
got it.
Yeah, that's fuzzy memory from an old man, but yeah, that's where, and I think that's tied in with because he kept Maul a secret from Plagueis. Plagueis found out, but they had also worked on um, trying to manipulate the Force in new ways. I.e., Plagueis was the one who was able to cheat death, and Palpatine alludes to that in Revenge of the Sith when he's talking to Anakin, and that my master could do this, blah blah blah. But he ended up killing him anyway.
Well, then I
Sorry.
got some homework. I got some homework here.
Yes, yes. Bask in the amazing knowledge of my Star Wars because I can't use this anywhere else.
Hey, man, that's the majority of the shit I know
I
as
know.
well.
I know, man.
All right, anything else?
No, I don't think so.
All right, that was a good run.
I think
I don't
so. I
really
think
have
we
a
did all
game
right.
plan, but that was a good one.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, guys. Make sure to subscribe, follow us on all social media, all that kind of fun stuff. Hopefully, we're gonna get some more stuff going here in this new year and get ready for Comic Con and a bunch of other fun things. So stay tuned for all of that. But yeah, till next time, you guys have a nerdy week.